Welcome back, everybody. This is the January San Diego real estate market update. So we're going to get into the usual, the pending, solds, inventory, days on market. Then we're going to get a little bit deeper today into forbearance. We'll touch on the 30-year fixed rate mortgages nationally. And then finally, we're going to briefly talk about San Diego's Big Five, the visionary plan for 2021, specifically dealing with transportation. Let's get into it. So you'll see right here, this is more of the same. With low mortgage rates and strong buyer demand in most market segments, the housing market looks to continue the trends we saw. So it's low inventory, multiple offers in hand, or in demand on properties, and then the market essentially is hoping for a boost in new construction and a surge in home sellers to provide more balance to the market. So as we come down here to the bottom, I always like to start here, very bottom, month supply of inventory. 1 month supply of inventory down to negative 41%. Now, this has been the same story now for really the last year. We've been hovering between negative 40 to 45% month over month. 1 month supply of inventory, the very lowest that we've seen. What it essentially means is if the homes were to continue selling at the same rate, yet no new listings were to come and hit the market, that time frame, 1 month, is the amount of time that it would take for all of our inventory to be completely dried up. So they say that a healthy market is going to be somewhere between 4 and 5 months, 4 and 6 months. It's like your Goldilocks kind of market, even between buyers and sellers. And anything lower than 4 months is generally considered a seller's market. So you can see with only 1 month supply of inventory, super heavy seller's market. And if you've been in the market yourself over the past year, let's say, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's jump back up now. New listings, pendings, and closed. We all expect these to be trending in the negatives, again, because of the very low inventory. Now here's the next big one. Median sales price. Look at this. Up 14.7%. Year over year. You see December's data from 2019, median sales price was $580, and then from just recently, December of 2020, $665 median sales price, the difference of 14%. And then we'll come all the way down here to the percentage of original price received, 100% of list price. So again, don't let that number fool you. And it's the same with days on market down here, from 30 all the way down to 24. Or down to 20. So again, don't let that number fool you. With a percentage of original list price received, even though it's at 100, the homes that are turnkey, they come to market, they're priced at market. Rest assured, I guarantee you, they are receiving 5, 10, sometimes over 20 offers above list price, considerably above list price. Okay, so you have to think that number is an average. So those homes that, and again, they're taking into account the entire market. So you could have a $5 million home that really is only worth, let's say, a $4.5 million home. And then it sells for about 4.5. So that $500,000 difference is now bringing down the average for everything else. So when you see that this time last year, 97.4% was the average, and now that we're all the way up to 100. That is a very big difference. And the same goes for days on market. You see that last year, 34 days was the average for time on market. That's from when the home lists to when it actually accepts an offer and goes into escrow. The difference from 34 down to 20 is obviously a huge difference. So here's what's happening. Those homes that are turnkey, they list midweek, let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is when they go to market. They spend 1 weekend with doing active showings, so maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They get everybody in there, all their offers come in. They're reviewing offers by Sunday night or Monday typically, and then there may be a little bit of negotiation back and forth, but typically they're in escrow then by Tuesday or Wednesday. So really, your more standard home that we're seeing, the majority, if they're coming to market correctly, they have professional photos, the whole nine, they're really only on market for between 5 and 7 days. We're going to jump into the 30-year fixed. You can see back in the very beginning of January 2020, 3.72 is the national average. And if we go to 1 year ago, the closest date I'm going to have here is going to be on the 30th, which is 3.51. And now you can see this year now, January 7th is when we hit our low at 2.65. We've started to climb back up a little bit with already a slight dip back to 2.79 on the 14th and now 2.77 back on the 21st. Now, we're going to get deeper into forbearance. Now, first thing I want to point out here, we've been hovering around 5.37. We increased slightly to 5.38. But when we're referring to just Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, your standard 30-year fixed rates were down at 3.11%. And now let's go to a quote here by Mike Frantantoni. Small increase in the share of loans and forbearance was led by a gain in the portfolio PLS plan segment. The good news is that the performance numbers for GSE loans continues to decline more consistently as these borrowers typically have stronger credit and a more stable employment. Finally, down here, and we already know this, but the latest housing market data shows strong momentum entering 2021 with both the pace of home sales and new construction booming. Now remember, that is speaking nationally, not so much for San Diego. Now, we're gonna get a little bit deeper. This is an article that just came out, Keeping Current Matters. What happens when homeowners leave their forbearance plans? Now here's a nice little breakdown here of all of the homes that are in forbearance. We have, this is coming from Black Knight, a very well-respected provider of data and analytics. 6.48 million households have entered forbearance plan as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now here's the breakdown. 2.5 million, 39% are current on their payments and have left the program. 9% have paid off their mortgages. 7% have negotiated a repayment plan and left the program. 35% have extended. 8% are still in the original plan, and then 2% have left the program and are still behind on their payments. Only 2%. So again, this is a little summary down here. This shows that almost 3.72 million homeowners have left the program. Out of the 3.72, only 2% exited while they're still behind on their payments. There's still 2.77 million borrowers in a forbearance program. So no one knows for sure how many of those will become foreclosures. There are three major reasons we're going to talk about why experts believe that there will not be a tsunami of foreclosures as we saw during the housing crash over a decade ago. The first, almost 30% of borrowers in forbearance are still current. Banks do not want to repeat the mistakes of 2008. It's also why we had a $3.2 trillion stimulus package injected into the economy by the feds. But what's going to happen is we'll see a large number of people, if necessary, negotiating a modification plan with the lenders and with the borrowers. And then finally is a significant amount of equity that we have today. Many homeowners have the option of just selling instead of having to go into foreclosure. And then finally, let's touch on, this is from SANDAG, the San Diego Association of Governments, and they're talking about the Big Five. It's their transportation vision for 2021, and essentially it's going to involve complete corridors, a transit leap, mobility hubs, flexible fleets, and the next OS operating system, which essentially is the brain of this transportation plan. And what this is going to do is essentially reimagine how people and goods move throughout the region in the 21st century. So I'm going to dive deeper into the visionary Big Five plan in another video. But guys, thanks for watching. If you got any value out of this, please subscribe, hit the like button, share with a friend. And as always, if you need any assistance buying or selling in this very hyper-competitive heavy sellers market here in San Diego, you know how to find me. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you on the next video.